At the World Economic Forum 2026 here in Davos, joining me on NDTV is Masoom Meena Mehta. She's a global influencer, a visionary entrepreneur, and someone who's really dedicated her life to empowering women worldwide. Thank you so much for speaking to us on NDTV here at Davos. Your first time here at the World Economic Forum, how's the experience been? And what are you here to really lend your voice for?
It's been 24 hours and it's been eye-opening. I think the conversations that are currently being had by leaders, there's so much to learn, and I think there's such a unique perspective to geopolitics, to world issues, to economic influences. I'm here as a delegate of the World Women Davos agenda, and it's so exciting to be here and be able to tell the stories of India.
Clearly, talking about the stories of India and women, specifically, there's a clear connect when we talk about how when they're really working, when they're empowered, when they're a part of the economy, how the impact on GDP as well. What really are the challenges which we're still facing, which is keeping women away from joining the workforce and adding to the GDP?
So I think the biggest issue is that we see this as a gender equality problem, and I think world leaders would really take notice if they start looking at this situation as an economical opportunity versus a gender equality problem. Global GDP would see a 20% increase with just more women participating in areas of economies like men.
Yeah.
Just bridging the gender equality gap would add $12 trillion to the economy. Bridging the digital gap would add another $10 trillion to the economy. So there's something that we need to sit down and really think about, right? That can we kind of bypass this conversation saying, oh, we're done having this fight about women versus men, or it's really not about gender.
Yeah.
I think let's start thinking about it as economics, and I think that might make the leaders look up.
I think what you rightly said, let's start looking at it and thinking, not just thinking, working towards it as economics. And again, when we talk about gender parity, unfortunately, that's not anywhere worldwide, right? And we see that huge gap as well. But you being a global influencer, how has that changed your approach to work towards women issues?
So I truly find it a privilege to be able to tell the stories of women through my platform. And I think telling these stories, right, I think it really starts small. I think the end game is, of course, a change in policies, and we need the interference by the government, by institutions. But at my level, I'm doing the best I can by just sharing the stories of women that will leave us really inspired. So when I talk about Falguni Nair starting her business at the age of 50, or Dipali Goenka building a $1 billion business from Jaipur, or Deepa Malik as the first woman to win a Paralympic medal, these are stories that stay with women every day and everywhere. And they inspire women to do more. And they show that there is light at the end of the tunnel. This is the possibility of what could be there. Now, with the same lens, right, if we're talking about what are structural changes that can be brought in, I think that's an important conversation as well. Because I don't think storytelling will cut it.
Absolutely. You just need to be brought in. In fact, you yourself, of course, you've spoken about the lovely Indian stories. There's so many women like that and women for women inspiring each other. You inspire so many youngsters as well. How does it feel when you are, representing India on global platforms like the Cannes? Of course, a huge responsibility. But what's that message that you're trying to bring about or change about India and the impact you want to really bring with what you're doing out there at the global platforms?
I think the world needs to see India for its soft power. I think we're seeing India for so many other things, but this is where our strength really lies. And I wish to bring the lens to that.
And what is that one message you would want to bring about India specifically, at global conversations?
Instead of this, can you ask me what is the structural change you would want to bring about? And I'll give you that answer and we can wrap it up.
Masoom, you've spoken about structural changes. What according to you could be that one structural change that can really bring about a change or impact on ground?
I think the structural change that needs to be brought about to, one, bring women in the workforce, and two, to keep women in the workforce, is the fact that the social infrastructure needs to change. I think the social infrastructure is completely stunted all over the world right now. When childcare system collapses, all ambitions collapse. You can't expect a woman to run a business on 2 hours of sleep and a home that's collapsing. So I really think we need to adopt and bring in policies that account for caregivers, childcare, elder care. There needs to be tax redemption for caregiving entrepreneurs, and I think this is where the needle might move.
And I think support, you yourself have recently become a mom's second time. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But like you rightly said, you need support from each and everyone in the family. It's not like one is helping, but it's needed. It has to be equal partnership, whether it's the spouse, whether it's the caregivers, whether it's the family. So I think that's also very, very critical.
Ambika, absolutely. I think when we talk about families, it's very important. But I think here in Davos at WEF, I'm speaking about the institutions.
Yes.
I'm speaking about capital access. I'm speaking about long-term capital being given to women entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I'm talking about capital fluidity, right? A woman's life, unfortunately, is not that rigid. It's fluid. It moves.
It moves with age.
It's an important characteristic we have to accept if we want more women in the workforce. And I think this change can be implemented from a policy perspective, from a financial institutions perspective.
And well, thank you so much for lending your voice for such an important cause here at the World Economic Forum, where important and critical conversations are happening on the global front. And I think this is a conversation which we really cannot ignore. Thank you so much for speaking with us on NDTV. Thank you.
Thank you.